This video is brought to you by True Tales of Buried Treasure, the largest collection of old treasure magazines in the West. On our website, you can search for individual treasure stories by region, or buy our original magazines themselves. To pay us a visit, please click on the link in the description. Enjoy. The legendary Lost Dutchman gold mine in Arizona's Superstition Mountains is well known to every treasure hunter in the state. But down in the rugged Wichita Mountains of southwest Oklahoma, there's another legendary spot that's just as famous among local treasure seekers. It's the fabulous Lost Cave with the Iron Door, a cave rumored to hold a whopping $11 million in Spanish gold. Inside, they say there are gold ingots stacked like firewood and baskets filled with gold doubloons, all guarded by a metal door, a massive chain, and a huge lock. Plus, there are skeletons of at least 17 Native Americans keeping watch over the treasure. The rusty iron door was shut over 200 years ago, and no one's managed to open it since except maybe one guy. There are plenty of stories about this cave. Some folks think there might actually be two lost caves, and some say it holds $200,000 of Jesse James's loot. Others believe it's hiding $500,000 of Belle Starr's stolen goods. Then there was this 70-year-old woman named Holt, who came from Missouri in 1908. She had a big iron key and a map to the Iron Door cave, claiming a dying outlaw had told her where the treasure was. According to old tales, the cave with the Iron Door wasn't just a gold stash. It was also a prison for Native American slaves working in Spanish mines back in the 1700s. When the Spaniards were driven out, they closed up 2 gold mines and hammered an iron spike into an oak tree to mark their return route. Some say this story is true because years ago, an iron spike was found deep in an old oak tree cut down near Treasure Lake, right where the lost cave with the Iron Door is believed to be. The stories about the mysterious cave only make people more eager to find it. One old treasure hunter, Dave Hungerford, firmly believes in the legend of the Spanish gold hidden in an underground vault. One afternoon in his home in Faxon, Dave shared the tale of a Mexican who inherited a silk map showing hidden Spanish caches in the area. The map, about 5 feet long and 2 feet wide, was beautifully decorated with cryptic designs and colors, and the Mexican always wore it around his waist to keep it safe unless someone killed him for it. This Mexican once tried to find the huge gold stash but failed, though he did locate some smaller caches. He let a close friend copy the silk map onto paper, but warned him that looking for the hidden treasure vault would be a waste of time. Names have been lost to history, but Dave believes an expedition set out into the Wichita Mountains in the 1850s. According to him, one of the adventurers saw the map and told him about it. Despite the Mexican's warning, the explorers did find the hidden vault's treasure. After much effort, they located the spot indicated on the map and started digging. A few feet down, a worker struck a rock wall and, after frantically chipping away, broke into a dark, musty room. The workman lit a torch and was stunned by what he saw. The treasure was beyond their wildest dreams. More men climbed down into the dark pit to check out the massive discovery. Gold bars were stacked against the walls like firewood, and baskets on the floor were overflowing with gold coins, glittering in the torchlight. In one corner, skeletons were sprawled across the floor. They didn't have much time to soak it all in. Before they could examine their newfound wealth, a lookout yelled, "Indians coming!" The rising dust cloud showed there were a lot of them. The men scrambled out of the hole, jumped onto their horses, and sped away to find shelter. When they crept back to the treasure hole later, they were bummed to find it completely filled in. The Indians knew about it too. They knew better than to risk an Indian siege. The bones they saw in the treasure vault were a grim reminder of what could happen. After marking the spot well, the adventurers rode south. Troubles and the Civil War came, and no further attempts were made to retrieve the treasure. But the story stuck vividly in the mind of Dave Hungerford. Another version of this tale involves the notorious outlaw Belle Starr and her gang robbing a train carrying $500,000 in U.S. government gold and $500,000 in currency. They had already picked a cave but needed a door for their secret hideout. The steel-bound door from the baggage car fit their needs perfectly. Both the money and the door were hauled to the cave in the Wichitas, where Belle had been keeping her loot. The door was set in place so it could be easily locked. Brush, trees, and sand were arranged to hide the door, making it invisible except from directly in front. Sometime later, Belle's gang was ambushed, and on February 2, 1889, Belle herself was killed in eastern Oklahoma by an unknown assassin. Some people stumbled upon the ancient iron door by accident. In the early 1900s, an old man and his son were riding from the wildlife refuge headquarters to Indiahoma. It was late in the afternoon, and they wanted to reach a friend's home before dark, so they took a shortcut through the hills near Elk Mountain. As they traveled through a remote canyon, a rusted iron door set into the cliff face caught their attention. They needed to reach their destination before nightfall and rode on, but they couldn't stop talking about the strange discovery. When they arrived at their friend's home, they shared the story. Their host was intrigued. He had heard of such a cave, and plans were made to find it. The search party set out early the next morning. The old man and his son were sure they could retrace their steps to the canyon where they had spotted the door. But once in the maze of mountains, every canyon looked the same, covered with scrub cedar and oak. They got lost and tried different routes but found nothing. They spent the entire day combing the rugged terrain in vain. That night, they returned home, still trying to remember the exact route. The next morning, they started their search again from the wildlife headquarters, but the rusty iron door still eluded them. The old man and his son camped in the hills, spending days at a time searching the mountainsides. All their attempts were futile, but they never forgot what they had seen. They knew it was no mirage. The mystery remains unsolved to this day. Many have searched for the mysterious iron door, but no one spent more time hunting it than Silas Lee, a hard rock miner, prospector, and treasure hunter. Silas had been searching for the elusive cave for over 60 years when the author last interviewed him at the age of 97. He was still convinced that someone would eventually find it. "I've worn out a good many pairs of shoes looking for that darn door," Silas exclaimed as we sat in his small stone cabin at the foot of the mountains. "Around 1908, he continued, tapping the ashes from his pipe, "a woman named Holt showed up at our homestead. She was about 70 years old and had come all the way from Missouri." Silas said the woman asked for help in finding certain landmarks in the mountains. She later admitted she was looking for the lost cave with the iron door. As a guest at the Eisen home for more than a month, she searched the area for clues, assisted by Silas's father. She had brought a large key for the huge lock on the iron door and a crudely drawn map. Despite their efforts, they couldn't find the mysterious portal. Disappointed, the woman left, taking the map and key with her. Silas, the grand old man of the Wichitas and the last of the gold seekers who swarmed into these mountains at the turn of the century, never gave up his quest for the legendary cave. At 97, he admitted he had slowed down a bit, but the iron door had appeared and disappeared too often for him to abandon his long search. The supposed site of the treasure was only a few miles north of Silas's secluded mountain cabin. Then there's the case of a boy named Prince, who in 1910 happened to be in the right place at the right time. Prince, his girlfriend, and another couple clearly saw the ancient metal door and its large rusted padlock. Prince knew nothing about the cave at the time, but the image of that massive hunk of iron stuck with him forever. After learning about the cave's legend and its treasure, Prince and his brother outfitted many expeditions from their homes in Indiahoma to find it. They failed, and Prince always believed that a landslide must have covered it. According to his memory, Prince had come upon the iron door in a canyon somewhere north of Treasure Lake, the same area where the old man and his son had seen the strange door. Others have stumbled upon the strange portal that quickly fades into obscurity, hiding forever from those determined to reveal its fabled contents. During the Depression, a farm worker decided to hike from his home in Hobart to Lawton on a summer day. After traveling all day, he set up camp where dusk found him. The next day, his route took him through the mountains past Elk Mountain. It was then that he was drawn to a rust-stained door barely exposed in the mountainside. This discoverer had heard the iron door legend and was determined to take a look inside if he could open it. He spent most of the day trying to loosen the ancient but thoroughly secured door, banging and prying at it with rocks and tree limbs. It had remained unopened for too long. Its corroded metal was sealed tightly, requiring modern tools to free it. Without any tools, the finder walked on to Indiahoma, almost directly south, to get help in opening the already famous iron door. In Indiahoma, he was joined by two men with picks, hammers, and dynamite. The trio hurried back to the hills and hiked to Elk Mountain, fully prepared to unlock the portal to great riches, or prove it to be a hoax once and for all. The laborer and his 2 friends climbed Elk Mountain to the spot where the iron door had been found, but it had disappeared again. The men searched the boulder-strewn hills for several days. Like everyone else who had seen the door, they couldn't find it again, even though they knew it had to be nearby. A man named Stevens also claimed he had found the iron door while hiking in the mountains. He tried to break into the cave and then climbed to the top of the mountain to pile stones as a marker so he could return. When he came back with his brothers, he couldn't find the marker. He was as certain as the others that he could relocate his find, but like them, he failed. Lawton businessman John French will tell you that the iron door is very real to him and 2 others. They stumbled upon it one day in the 1920s while traveling on foot from Cooperton to Indiahoma. As dusk approached, they cut across the country to save time. French said that before entering Cutthroat Gap, they found an old rock pen that appeared unused for years. From there, they traveled south and soon discovered an old rifle hanging in an oak tree. One of them took the old gun. When they approached Mount Pinchot, their path took them past an iron-bound door that seemed to cover a cave or an old mine. It was so thoroughly secured that they didn't try to open it. An old Indian later told French that the iron door guarded great treasure and that the spirits of the dead inside protected it. Tribal laws wouldn't allow the aged warrior to show the cave to any white man, so he died with his secret. The rust-eaten rifle French and his companions found was later placed in a Tucson museum. None of the men have forgotten the strange door they once saw far away from the roads, but all searches for it have ended like before. Most of those who have found the lost cave with the iron door place it in the mountainous terrain north of Treasure Lake, near Elk Mountain. French and his party found it several miles farther north, near Mount Pinchot. Could there be 2 caves with iron doors? How long will the elusive lost cave with the iron door continue to hide from those who seek it? How long will the iron door rust among the red granite rocks while cold rain beats upon its heavy metal face? It's anybody's guess, really. Maybe you'll be the one to solve the mystery, or maybe it will never be solved. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to read the original article or purchase the magazine from which it was taken, please check out our website, truetalesofburiedtreasure.com.